Because the high tide coming. Drip, chop, roll on. Tick, tock, so on. Fling, back, roll on. Look how the high tide coming. Splash on. Body well form and it hot up. Quarantine jam, have me lock up. Give me hard, drive and a back up. Baby, you better be ready for the
WEFM, the clean, fresh sound.
Rise and shine. Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Journey.
The time is now at 7:46 in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Time flies when you're having fun. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Ari, and with me is Christal, and we are Activated Mornings this morning. So we're continuing our weekend roundup, and we're talking about the GHS Grammar School sports once more. And we have a comment here on WhatsApp says, "Good morning. You mentioned some politicians there not being political. Where were the opposition members?"
Sorry.
Yeah. Where were the opposition members?
Vinny was there.
Yeah. Vinny was performing.
Vinny was she is
quite
a
active.
headmistress girl.
She was quite active.
Right? She's part of the headmistress posse team. I don't remember what they call themselves. But every house has this thing, this like slogan. Stop it.
What?
Yeah, so she was very active. I've only seen like photographs, but I find it like a little funny, right? Politicians, they're not being political or anything, but where the opposition members. I know the fact that it just sounds. I think it makes it a little bit more political now.
Yeah.
When you ask for the opposition members.
Yeah.
But I mean, we try to balance and level things out. So it's all right. Big up to yourself. Somebody else said, forgot to say that my wife and I watched too. Very good. Looking forward to end of school sports. When is into school sports? But the exact date.
21st, I think, was announced yesterday.
21st was announced?
I think it's the 20th to the 22nd. Because it's primary. No. So the 20th and the 21st, the primary schools and the primary schools will be one day.
That's a Wednesday and Thursday. It's March rain, right?
Yeah.
A lot of things happening in March. This Friday is International Women's Day. And then next week, Thursday, is the day that they repeat the speeches from the years gone by, National Heroes Day. And then the 29th is Good Friday.
What happens in National Heroes Day?
You go up to the obelisk and talk.
That's it. And then there's the thing at
you come back down and do nothing.
Point. Is it Point?
Oh yes. And we eat Madongo bakes.
Man, I feel like more can be done for National Heroes Day besides those two things. What else?
It's a holiday, so everybody gallivanting and having their own private show and what's not. Going to the beach, going to the Grenadines.
A lot of people don't understand the cultural relevance behind Joseph Shatter. Isn't he the only national hero?
Yes, sir.
So I think more can be done. More can be done for him because a lot of people aren't really interested in they go up to the obelisk and they have this, as you said, the same show that they usually have every year. A lot of people even stopped watching. So I'm wondering what new will come forward, especially in a time where we're supposed to be more progressive and innovative as a country. But the number to call is 457-9997. Also the number to WhatsApp 457-9997. But what do you think is something that probably could draw more attention and educate persons more about our national hero? And do you think that we should have another national hero at this point?
I feel like if you put it in people's faces, the way that there's a massive, what do you call it, poster banner thing as soon as you enter Kingstown after the Peace Memorial, the whole opposite, where you see the PM and other ULP parliamentarians. If you have something of that significance and that size and relevance to just remind people of Joseph Shatter, then it'll make a lot of sense. people might become a little bit curious. People might become a little bit more aware as well. Like, who is that? And tourists as well.
Mhm.
They'll start asking questions and be like, who's that gentleman? And then people will be inclined to answer. The more people will be inclined to answer, the more they actually have to do research on the said individual, because folks are asking. You don't want to be, ignorant. Ignorant as in lacking information. They have made a bit of promises over, or intentions rather, over the last couple of years. I'm not within the school system, so I'm not too certain if these things have actually materialized. But if it is that you want to see certain changes in terms of knowledge, in terms of awareness and appreciation, the best thing for me, in my opinion, is to start with the youths. So when you get them involved, you get them knowing, you get them interested. As they grow up, they take that with them. The older folks might be a little bit harder to get them on board because they've already been socialized a certain way to either not appreciate history or to just be more inclined to take up other cultures and other customs from elsewhere, or even new local customs. So back to the youths, and actually follow through with the intentions that are being made.
Someone says that Greg's is also a place to be.
Yes, Greg's has several days worth of activities.
And
They've been doing that quite a while. They reenact, they rebuild, they have shows, guest artists, they actually dress up. Big up to Nero one time. Big up to Nero. Was it the Joseph Chatier National Park? That's where they normally head out on the countryside. That finished though?
I'm not even sure. But last year I had an interesting conversation with a Carib girl. And she had mentioned to me there are people who believe that Joseph Chatier was not a real person, that he was created by the British, because no one can trace his lineage. No one can say who is a descendant of Joseph Chatier. And usually there are records of it in, I think, the Dominican Caribs have records. But that's an interesting
records of
like trace the lineage.
Oh,
See who came from what, who came from where, and they haven't been able to trace anybody back to Joseph Chatier.
But you do. Have you ever also heard of the last name actually being Joseph, and Chatier was the first name?
Joseph is English name.
Right,
Remember,
so
his name is Shatuya or something similar to that. I have to double check it, but Joseph is an English name. But the actual Carib name is closer to Chatoyer.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm not too certain about that.
But I'll double check it. But I also saw an interesting post on Facebook by Clive Bishop last week, and I'm gonna read it. It reads, Black History. 22 years ago, the St. Vincent Marketing Corporation, aka Marketing Board, exported record quantities of fresh agricultural produce and frozen fish to markets in the USA, the UK, France, and the Northern Caribbean islands. Please check the records. It was so impressive that a big Lucian-based businessman came to the board of directors of the Marketing Corporation and asked him for help to supply hot peppers to his clients in Miami, Florida. That season, September 2002 to 2003, the Marketing Corporation set a new record for the export of hot peppers overseas, more than 750,000 pounds, September to March. The Marketing Corporation was at the time the most successful and efficiently managed aggregator in the NER region. The Marketing Corporation was sold after clearing all its debts from the previous management to Massey Company shortly after. Today, how ironic is it that a businessman from St. Lucia is now elevated to be the aggregator for Vincentian Farmers Fresh Produce, and a business company from Jamaica is the aggregator for the fish and seafood from the fisherfolk. What do you think about that? You have some questions here.
The St. Lucian-based businessman.
That is the name was right there, and it
was so impressive that a big St. Lucian-based businessman came to the board of directors of the Marketing Corp. So this was back in
looks like 2002, 2003.
2003. And then it follows up down here. The marketing corp was sold after clearing all its debts from the previous management to Massey Company shortly after. I feel like it went through some other names before that. But anyways, I don't know the back end. Today, how ironic is it that a businessman from St. Lucia is now elevated to be the aggregator? So full circle kind of thing. You know, was there or are there opportunities for Vincentians to fill the gaps within agriculture? One, if there are opportunities, and clearly there are, because how is it that a foreigner or foreigners can come in and capitalize on that? Are these opportunities easily accessible? Accessible? What are the barriers to entry? Is it lack of interest by Vincentians? Is it that they're being blocked from doing so? There's too much red tape. They have to go through too many loopholes to get it done. Is it that it's too expensive? It's not worth it? Or is it that it's more profitable for you to, if you are a trafficker, a transporter, whatever role you play within agriculture, it's more profitable for you to operate on your own than to actually put things together and export or aggregate. So, what is happening within the market is my question.
But if there is too much red tape, how is it that foreigners are able to come and go through the process? Is it a lack of patience? Is it a lack of funds? Because I'm pretty sure they're meeting the same red tape that is there for the locals.
It could be it could be, and then culture too might be a differentiating factor, perhaps. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure about if it is red tape. Do some people have it easier than others? Is one of the red tapes money? And some foreigners, they have a little bit more money than, so they can pay up the dues and the fees and what's not. And whatever business plan they have in place, it's more profitable. Maybe they're able to negotiate better deals. Who knows? But it's not to say that Vincentians don't have the opportunity, but for those, have people actually tried? And for those who have tried, why were you unsuccessful? I think, not think, one of these days, okay. I was actually speaking to somebody within the ministry. That's why I took the call. So one of these days, we really have to have a sit down and go into a bit more detail about agriculture in St. Vincent and Grenadines, because it's been making quite a bit of wrongs. But like all in all, I would really love to see Vincentians take up as many opportunities as possible for us to be the leaders in every industry. There is still a space for like foreign investment. I don't know what will make Vince's happy, to be honest. But hopefully in the future, things will change a little bit, make it a bit better. Right? Somebody, I keep seeing this on my. It's an accident in.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So we have a call coming in. We'll take this call quickly before we wrap up this segment. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Ari. Good morning. How are you? Morning, Chris.
Morning, I'm well.
Morning.
Ari, businessmen in St. Vincent, business people in St. Vincent do not like to invest money. And when things happen, then they look for excuse and make complaints. They do not invest, Ari. You see it to yourself. They don't even want to fix up their own buildings, run down supermarkets. Come on, Ari, you seeing it for yourself. They do not want to invest money. And when things happen, then they look for excuse. They look for the easiest way out. Blame the government, blame this, blame that. We seeing it every day, Ari. You seeing it with your own eyes too. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I won't believe everything that Clive Bishop write in the paper, because he's the same one when Mr. Eustace give him Victoria Park and fix up and to grow the grass. He said, "Bird eat the seeds so the grass couldn't grow." Please, I don't believe anything these guys say. I'm not want to bring in politics, but it's the same way. They give him the whole Victoria Park to do, and when he done, he say, "Oh, God, eat the seed so the grass couldn't grow." Please. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Well, I think the takeaway from the post was that marketing board was in fact the aggregator here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That is definitely factual. The export and the number, the import and the numbers, with that's something that definitely would have to be fact checked by the Ministry of Agriculture. They would have those records, right?
Now I remember what was going through my head when this conversation was had a couple of years ago. Now, you know that traffickers, they would do their own aggregating and shipments or exports. What would happen to the traffickers if they were an organization or body or business that does that on a much larger scale?
The ones who go to
Right.
Trinidad.
So the traffickers today, they put together produce from several farmers. They buy them, they package them, and they send them to, let's say, Trinidad.
Mhm.
If you have an actual business that is doing that as well, they're taking the work of the traffickers away. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So they're doing the aggregating now. What would be the role of the traffickers then?
But you know, it's interesting, and it is really is a cycle of events. What if the Trinidadians start to argue and protest and say, well, we need Trinidadians who are in charge of these things happening, and we have these Vinces coming down here and making this money with the produce, and we're a Caribbean
They need the
island.
produce,
We could probably get it from a closer island, or we could probably do it ourselves.
I mean,
It's
and that's the
interesting.
nature of business, right?
Mhm.
To cut costs, as much as possible to get things in a timely manner. So if it is that you can get it at a cheaper rate somewhere else, I remember a couple of years ago, the local pepper sauce producers, they used to get the pepper mash from Trinidad.
Mhm.
So the traffickers would carry down XYZ, they would bring back up the pepper mash, and then the producers of the pepper sauce would be able to produce the pepper sauce now, because locally not enough peppers, because there are so many pepper sauce producers, because we consume so much pepper sauce, it's not enough to feed the local market, so you have to get from elsewhere. So I don't know.
Yeah, but
But-
something to think about.
Pretty sure the traffickers got more work because of the downfall of marketing co-op, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it is something to think about. The time now is 8:03, and your time check was brought to you by New Haven Funeral Home.
Death is a fact of life. Even though death is a fact